What's happening, dogs? Mr. Allen here. We're about to write the inverse of this function, and we're going to list the domain and range restrictions for both the OG function and its inverse. We got some dope math coming at you. Let's get after it. All right, so to find my inverse, first step, swap my x and y's. Let's do it. So this is going to be x equals, and then I'm going to have y minus 7 squared plus 1. Also, what the heck is that right there? That is a domain restriction. It's saying this graph is only existing to the left of positive 7. Maybe that will come up later. All right, back to the action here. I need to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 1, and I'm going to have y minus 7 quantity squared. I'm trying to get to that y, bro. I just want to get to that y. How am I going to do that? How about square root on both sides? So now what I have is the square root of x minus 1, but I do have a plus or minus here. We're going to have to make a decision. We're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not it's positive or negative in a little bit. Equals y minus 7. The last thing I got to do is I got to add 7. I'm going to rewrite it in function notation. So I have f inverse of x equals, and then I have plus or minus, we're going to figure that out, the square root of x minus 1 plus 7. So we can't have a plus or minus here, right? Because that's going to be a radical like this and like this. And that's not going to pass the vertical line test, which brings us back to this guy right here. The graph of that one right there, it's a parabola. It's going to look something like this. If I do a rough sketch here, I'm to the right 7, and I'm up 1. That means I'm going to look like this. I'm positive. Whee! That's my graph of this right here. But because we have x is less than or equal to 7, it does not exist over here. Okay? It's only this chunk right here that exists right now. So we got to make that decision as to what part exists here, positive or negative. Well, since I'm going to the left of it here, it's only going to be my negative portion there. So that's going to be my final answer for my inverse, right? Let's write that again nice and clean. We're going to have f inverse of x is equal to negative. Then we have our x minus 1 plus 7. Oh, woo! We are cruising, dogs. All right, let's get some domain and range restrictions. Well, let's see here. We already have our domain restriction right here, right? Let's get our range as well. Let's get that range in there. So my range, it's however low it goes and however high it goes. Well, the low point is at positive 1 there, and it keeps on going up forever and ever and ever. So it's going to be y is greater than or equal to positive 1. Or you can go from 1 to infinity using interval notation. Okay, either one. Same idea there if you'd like. Down here, well, we can think, hey, either my domain and range, they just swap, right? But we can also look at this and figure it out, okay? So for this one here, I know my inputs here, I got to be x needs to be greater than or equal to 1, because if I'm lower than that, I'm going to get negatives inside my radical. We don't want that. So I got to be x is greater than, so my domain, x is greater than or equal to positive 1. Hey, look at that. It was y is greater than or equal to 1. Oh, that is pretty dope. Now, with this particular one here, let's take a look at this graph, okay? So if I were to graph this and do a rough sketch, I'm going to be going to the right 1, I'm going to go up 7. So to the right 1, up 7. So I'm up here. Now, my normal radical would go up like this, but it's negative, so it's a vertical reflection. It's going down like that. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So my high point is 7, and it's going down. So my range is going to be that y is less than or equal to positive 7. Oh, what's up? My domain and my range flip-flopped, right? That's y. That's a representation of it. You could have just, boom, I'm done, right? But I want to show you the y, right? You want to know the y. Now, the last thing we're going to do here is take a look at this. I'm going to pop this guy right over here. We got that 1 and 7. I'm going up like this. Now, what line are these guys reflecting over? They are reflecting over this y equals x line right there. And there we go, folks. We got ourselves a nice graphical representation. We've got our inverse function with our domain and range restrictions. We got our OG function with its domain and range restrictions. That was incredible math right there. That's what I'm talking about, babe. Woo!